everybody, and welcome to another live episode of Messi Co. I'm Ashley here, as always, with my incredible co-host Gian. Happy Monday. How we feeling? Bright and beautiful outside. Maybe we won't be talking about things that are so bright and beautiful for Inter Miami, not to give things away, but sun is shining, weather is nice. I had a pipe burst in my house, but outside of that, things are good. Can't complain. How we feeling?
I'm feeling good. Monday's always good. Always enjoy the first day of the week. Get to enjoy here talking Inter Miami, talking with you, talking with the fans. So it's good. It's good. A lot of Inter Miami stuff. It's like now that we do these weekly episodes, there's like so much happens in between. It's like it's just so
I
much
know.
content, so much stuff to talk about. Messi, the ball. There's always news going on with those two. It's pretty crazy. So I'm just happy to be here.
No, yeah, me too, me too. This is always a good, I don't want to say escape, but I think like we're just so used to, we grew up just as sports fans and we are sports fans, but the fact that we've gotten to kind of like create this community and work, be and doing this since Messi joined Inter Miami, it's really cool to be able to like voice our thoughts about sports and then get to talk to everyone about it. So yeah, feeling grateful, feeling excited. Good, it's gonna be a good episode.
It's definitely going to be a good episode. It's funny because there's also not only is there like football related stuff to talk about, there's even stuff off the field. That's just again when you have
I
guys like
do, yeah.
Messi and the ball has always got stuff going on around him. So there's just so much off the field stuff too that makes it fun too. Like there's a little bit of both, things. So I think that'll be fun to talk about today.
I agree. I agree. I think that there will be ups and downs to the conversation. But first and foremost, I think what we do have to talk about, like you said, it's a long week in between these episodes, and this week specifically was busy. Um, Unfortunately, means that we started the week with Inter Miami being eliminated by Nashville. During the Champions Cup second leg draw. The game ended 1-1. It was a home game for Inter Miami at Chase Stadium. Actually, the last competitive match I think that will be played or at Inter Miami Stadium, Fort Lauderdale, whatever it's called. The previous stadium, uh, after getting a draw in Nashville, obviously there are away goals. We didn't score then. They scored when coming to us, and because of that, we couldn't get in a second one, and that means they advanced. I think huge disappointment, something we were not expecting as fans, and part of what we've said in the preseason and getting into the season, we thought that the most important tournament and value of this season was going to be uh, trying to win the Champions Cup, and the fact that we're out this early in the round of 16 definitely puts a damper on the season. I do think we'll get into it, but there's still a lot left and a lot to play for, including a brand new stadium that's opening in 10 days. But it's important to say, I think big disappointment and a lot of things that could have been done better. What were your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, it was pretty disappointing to say the least. I mean, it's just such a letdown. It's what they wanted to win this season more than anything else. They put it above everything. They put it above winning another MLS Cup. They put it above winning a Leagues Cup, which obviously wasn't difficult to put above that. They put it above a supporter shield. They put it above everything. There's just so much talk, not only from the players, but from Jorge Mas, just nonstop like selling that idea that we can win Champions Cup, that we can go in and just come out running away with it. I mean, that's what he did. He invested so much money into this team after losing Busquets, after losing Alba, bringing on the players like Berterame, spending what was it like $15 million to bring him in. He had at one point shot for Dennis Bonga, couldn't get him, but ended up still with a good forward from the Mexican League. Spent $2 million on David Ayala, brought in Reguilon, brought in Mikael. Like the investment was there, and him talking about they can win this, and then about the dream of going and playing a Libertadores in South America, and it's just like all of that just goes down the drain, and I think it just kind of sucks. And you're not talking about going all the way to the quarterfinals, semifinals. Well, the quarterfinals would have been next, but you're not talking about going to semis or losing in the finals, right? You're talking about losing in the first round. I think that's embarrassing, really, for this team with the talent that this team has, and it really makes you wonder. who's at fault here? How much of the fault is at players? How much of the fault is on Macherano? How much of the fault is on maybe, I think, ownership just selling an idea that really wasn't realistic? I don't know. There's definitely things that we can discuss here. I'd love to hear what people in chat think, but look, it just wasn't a good showing. I mean,
Yeah.
leg one, 0-0 draw in Nashville. And I know that at that time we kind of felt there were mixed emotions. It was like, okay, you go away from home and you get a draw, right? Usually, most of the time, you go away from home and it's like, okay, if you rescue, a draw and you don't lose, okay, good, that was a good performance. Then you kind of define it at home, but then that kind of that gave them an upper hand with the away goal. And I know that you were concerned, Ash, about the away goal. I know that others were concerned, and I honestly was like, I don't care about the away goal. Like, you're going home, like that's where you win it. There's no excuses. Who cares? The away goal only counts if you don't, if you don't win. And I really thought this team could win, and it was just, I think just quite unfortunate, and some bad things happened outside of obviously losing. You had Maxi Falcon that couldn't play a game because he was injured. Then Reillon coming back from an injury, plays 40 minutes, he gets injured. Um, there's just a whole lot of bad, I feel like.
Yeah.
But and I don't know. I mean, let me know. I don't know what you think with what you saw on the pitch, Ash. Like, I'll give you a chance, and I kind of want to talk about it too a little bit about what Mascherano did. I just don't feel like it's working. Honestly, it's apparently not working. His strategy, the players that he has on the pitch. I don't know, from a strategic standpoint, from a playing on the field. What did you think?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Claudio says, like the Miami Hurricanes got to start all over again next season. Yeah, I will say that, like, look, I think it would be good to be back to back MLS Cup champions. I think it would be really good to win the League's Cup. I think there are still opportunities, to have success. 2 years ago, we saw they got the Supporter Shield, broke the points record, but then didn't, made it out of the first round of the playoffs. So there are still things I think we can build ourselves up to as the season progresses. But in terms of this game, I completely agree with you. I went to the match last week, and so it was, on a positive, it was really good to see a lot of, our colleagues and friends that we have of the show, and that we've just built relationships with over the last few years. And we were all honestly the vibe. The first half was very positive. Obviously, Messi scores, which we'll get into. Then Reguilon gets injured toward the end of the first half, and we're like, oh, that sucks. But we thought that overall the team was doing pretty well, and that, we thought honestly could have scored 2 or 3 goals, and we didn't. And then the second half came, the first adjustments that Mascherano made, uh, bringing off Segovia and Allende, right? And bringing on, um I don't remember who he brought on, but I was just thinking in the moment that he took off attackers, and maybe we can check this. I'm sorry, I'm blanking out. He took off
Yeah, so
attackers.
I'll let you know. No, Noah Allen, just so you can paint a picture.
Yeah,
Noah Allen came in for Reguilon in minute 40, and
right.
then later on in the second half, you had Mateo Silvetti that came in at minute 61.
Yeah.
David Ayala came in at minute 78, and Suarez at 78 as well. So just
For 60, but
yeah.
it took out he kept Segovia in, or excuse me, yeah, he kept Velasco Segovia in, and he took off, I think, Allende. He took off an attacker when I it was still, we were only up by 1 goal. There felt like there was more to do, offensively. And it just didn't feel like a good thing at the moment. And I was saying it, he brought in Suarez too late. I will say I don't think Suarez did well in the minutes he was there, but I think that he's a player that needs to get his legs under him a little bit in a game, and what he brings psychologically and a couple of different things, and the fact that he just is like, you never know what he's gonna do, he takes chances. We needed that because everything was just feeling so robotic. And look, we've been saying it all season leading up to in the preseason. It's early, but we were saying, man, the offense isn't clicking. They're looking really robotic. You have players that are firecrackers. You have players that can come and change the game. Maybe you don't start with it, but you need to catch it before it gets away from you. And in this case, before the team knew it, we were Nashville scored, and because of the away goal, that meant they were sort of on top, and Inter Miami were then having to chase the game for 25 minutes. And again, in the moment, we're like, okay, we can do it. Plenty of time left. But as time ticked on, you just kept seeing Inter Miami either pass it backwards or pass it parallel, and you're like, I there was one point where you had 5 attacking players poised to make runs, and we were watching it, and we were just like, DePaul or Bryce, hit the ball over the top, like, send the ball over the top. There's 5 players in 5 lanes making runs, and no one would pass it, and it just was it was a bad setup. Players didn't have good games, and in the end, it was kind of like, what is it? Like, all these things that come and make a disaster, right? So in the end, a lot of things that you can look at and say that it didn't go well, and it was a big mistake.
Yeah,
I said a
a
lot
lot of
there, but
things. No, no, it completely makes sense. I think it was a good analysis. Messi scores in the 7th minute, and then for the next 67 or so minutes, nothing happens for Inter Miami at all. And I think that's really telling. This team, I think, far too often depended too much on Messi, and then there were sparks last season, especially going on to the postseason, where you had players step up. Especially when you talk about Silvetti, you talk about Tadeo Allende, that really, and De Paul also, and even Yannick Bright. People that really stepped up, and it wasn't all on Messi. And I think that this team kind of has reverted back to those bad habits of just Messi. Messi again scoring in the 7th minute, and then after that for 67 minutes, nothing else happens really. And I think you can kind of talk about what you said, Ash, some of the tactical changes that Mata did. I mean, going into the 67th minute up 1-0. I mean, at the 61st minute, still up 1-0 and controlling the game. Was there really a need to take out Segovia and to bring in Silvetti? I don't necessarily know if that was the best. I think the best use of that substitution. Segovia, I mean, I don't believe he was injured. I don't think so. If he was, somebody correct me, but I don't think he was injured. And he's a guy that maybe is not as strong in attack as Silvetti, but he's helping control that midfield very much so. So once you take that out, you really open yourself up to more of an attack. He helps a lot on attack, but he also helps a lot on defense. I think maybe instead of making that change at 61, if you really wanted to bring in Silvetti, which I don't think the issue was Silvetti coming in. I think it was
I agree.
Silvetti for Segovia. I would have probably
100%.
taken out Berterame, is what I would have done, and taken
100%.
out Berterame, and then you would have had Messi with 2 guys flying in behind the defenses with Allende on the right and Silvetti on the left. That would have made more sense to me. Then obviously
100%.
he takes out Segovia. They get scored on less than 15 minutes later. After that change, Espinosa scores and ties the game for Nashville 1-1. And then that's where I think all the alarms are raised, right? And I'm just trying to figure out, what the hell do I do? I have less than 20 minutes to score. And that's where he takes out Mura and he brings in Suarez. So he takes out a defender in Mura and he adds an additional attacker in Suarez. And then he also took out Yannick Bright and he put in David Ayala, who David Ayala, we know, hasn't gotten a lot of minutes, but he's a guy that can help on the defense, but he has more attack than Yannick Bright. And it just didn't
And
work
just really
out
quickly to
at the
interrupt,
end of the day.
you should have this context. It was the 3rd substitution window, and his first 2 substitution windows only uses 2 subs. One obviously for the injury for Reguilon, which is understandable, but then you're getting to the 70 something minute, you're down a goal, and you only have 1 substitution window left, and you don't even use all 5 players. It drove me nuts. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, no, agreed. So this is, I think, from a tactical standpoint, it's really what screwed us up with that midfield change for no reason. It really just, it was the wrong substitution at the wrong time. Berterame should have been the
For
first
the
one
wrong
out at
player.
that time. Yeah, it was the wrong player, and I think that things would have been different if that substitution wouldn't have happened. On paper, this team should have beat Nashville. I'm not gonna talk ill of Nashville. I think Nashville's a good team. Obviously, I believe they're in first place right now. Like, they've been doing very well. Sam Surge playing very well. Eni Mukhtar playing very well. Espinosa, I mean, their front 3 are playing so well. So they were a good team. I just think that talent-wise, this Inter Miami team is better, and with the proper tactics, strategy, I think they would have pulled this one off. But it's just it's sad at the end of the day that they weren't able to do it. And hopefully, it's a learning lesson. Hopefully, it's something that Macherano can take from that and change what he does moving forward. Just like we had the Suarez lesson last season where he unlocked the offense and for some reason decided to revert back to what he was trying to do before Suarez got suspended in the postseason. Hopefully he for some reason he I don't know, he just says, you know what, screw it, I'm going to take what I learned in that postseason and continue it through the season. But yeah, and I just want to say,
Agree.
Ash, one thing. There's no way that they would have done anything in Libertadores if they can't get past Nashville in the first round. So I don't know how that's still what the possibilities of going to the Libertadores are, but they got to get a lot better if they don't want to get embarrassed on the national stage.
I agree. I agree. Look, and I mean, it's so many implications for the team just outside of wanting to be in the tournament. Like you said, like Inter Miami is trying to become a powerhouse in this, uh, like this part of the world, and so far it's been building at a pretty good pace. Every year has gotten better. We have a new stadium opening. Messi signed for another couple years. Like all those things are really good, and you felt the momentum. But something like this, when it seems like the team is ill prepared and the coach is ill prepared, it it sets things back. And I think this is true. It is true any given Sunday. Nashville didn't do anything wrong. We just didn't do things right that we needed to do. Look, we have to talk about it. I think I was part of the brigade who said in the beginning of the season, look, he got the 2 assists. He needs to warm up. He wasn't getting chances in I was saying a couple things about Berterame, and look, at this point, the needle is moved to the other side where and it happens quick with strikers, especially ones you spend $15 million on that in a minute, I can go from he's adjusting, he has great uh what's it called? Like a, pullback play. He's able to connect with players. He goes on defense. He does all of those things, and it's really good to see, especially when we didn't have a lot of that from Suarez earlier. But he's not doing the only thing that we need him to do, which is score. And he hasn't scored. And now we're into I think 9 or 10 matches where he has not scored a goal, and that is a huge red flag when you're coming down to, to your team striker that you spent all this money on, and he Mascherano is not taking him out, and in the game like last Wednesday, you need to if you're bring Suarez and take him out, worry about fixing that relationship and worry about getting him ready when you're not in an elimination game. You gotta have the sense to understand you do whatever it takes to win, and then you have plenty of time to figure things out. It's cost, I think, Bertarame a lot of goodwill and feelings with the Inter Miami fans, and he has plenty of time to turn things around, and there's plenty of, life left to live in this in for Inter Miami in the season. But really bad start to his career here, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about Bertrand. I can do a whole episode on that. But not necessarily that he's talking ill of him. I think he's a good player. Honestly, I just think it's a different situation for him here into Miami. It's a different style of play. It's we've seen that. We've
Yeah.
seen players that play good on one team go to another, and the coach just doesn't put them in a position to succeed. So yeah,
Yeah, maybe we'll get into it another one, but, and before we just right now transition, Miami need Champions Cup to qualify for the Club World Cup. Yeah, it's true. I mean, uh all of those things, Libertadores, all of those things are true. This is a big roadblock for Inter Miami, and we can only just hope to move forward and you know, see the team win all the other competitions that they're available to participate in this year and keep momentum going. A positive, I will say, as we transition because we have lots to talk about and we can always come back to this game. Um, the one goal Inter Miami did have was a pretty important one because it didn't show in the end because we suffered a disappointing loss, but Lionel Messi scored his 900th competitive goal, and it deserves to be said. Um, Man, it's cool to witness the greatest player of all time play and still play at such a high level, and be part of history of, what we've been watching since we were both very young, in our teens watching him and then, in our 20s and before you know it. Uh, 900 goals, earned every single one of them, did something spectacular along the way, and, yeah, as you wrote here, Messi adds another milestone to the most ridiculous career in football history, and I think it's true because, it's the most ridiculous, but it's the greatest, and man, it's cool to witness greatness, wouldn't you say? Oh, you're muted, you're muted.
I said yes. It's unfortunate that that milestone moment, that amazing 900th goal, happened to be in a Champions Cup elimination. That sucks. That like kind of watered it down. But still, 900 goals is just an amazing career, a ridiculous career, and yeah, just seeing
Look
him
at those stats.
score like that many goals is just crazy. I don't. I almost wonder how many of the 900 I've seen because
In
I
person or, like,
mean,
on TV?
no, on TV.
At
I've
least
on in per
500.
in person, I mean, we've been lucky enough to see him a lot in person over the last couple of few seasons. So, what in person, maybe we've seen
How many goals
40
did he
or
score for
something.
Inter Miami? That's what I'm gonna look up.
Actually, that's a great. Let's check that out. So,
'Cause then I can work my way backwards. Did Messi
yeah,
score
he scored. Let's see, how many has he
81. He
scored?
scored 81.
81. So, of the
Okay,
80
so
of the
yeah,
81, I've probably seen of the 81, probably like what 65, 70 of them, probably.
in person, yeah.
Yeah. So that's crazy. And then on TV, I've been watching him since. You know what's crazy? It's funny. The other day I was thinking, I'm like, I've always been like since a kid or whatever, and I realized I'm older than Messi, which is insane. I'm his age, basically. I'm his age,
Yeah,
and but when you see him on TV, you always look at him like, oh, Messi's like older than you and all whatever. But I've been watching him honestly since probably I'm not gonna say as since he was 16, but probably when I noticed him probably 17, 18 years old when he was playing with Dino on the team, and Dino was still the top dog on that team.
mhm,
Man, like it's just the amount of insane goals that he scored, those classical games that he scored, the celebrations. It's just really cool to be able to witness that. And I think that he's around for at least a couple more years. So
yeah.
let's see what records he breaks. But that's just insane. What does it say,
Yeah, I mean,
Mister? That's funny. Mister Facts is spitting facts, which is
these are
pretty cool.
facts, yeah.
I wonder if that's why the name 900 goals, fastest to reach 407 assists, 48 trophies, 8 Ballon d'Or, 6 Golden Boots. It's just crazy. It's crazy to be
And
able
a
to
World
witness that
Cup,
in your
probably
lifetime.
most importantly.
Yeah, no, 100%. Just think about like our parents and people that the old timers, people that have been around for long, when they talk about people like Pele, they talk about Maradona. And when we're much older, we're just talking about when I'm 70, 75 years old, I'm going to be talking to some young kid about, hey, man, bro, I saw Messi in person. This is the guy that scored over 900 goals. It's just cool to see how these
That old time
conversations
talk, yeah.
yeah, that old time talk, talking about, yeah, I used to go to the stadium every weekend and watch him. And
Now
I
the
don't know.
games are just
It's just
AI
really
in
neat.
our head, yeah.
Yeah. But it's just really neat. Yeah, yeah. To see that and man, Inter Miami, like he's doing it here with our colors, you know, with our
Yeah.
team. So that's really neat.
100%, yeah, I mean, look, we said it, towards the end of last season, I'll say it now, and I certainly would say it going into this World Cup. Lionel Messi is right now, there's maybe only a handful of players genuinely that if I'm like, everything's on the line, I need, whatever, like this is life or death, that I'm taking over him. Really, like I know it's crazy to say, and there maybe is some inherent bias, but he's still the greatest player of all time and still can put out absolute worldies and do, anything you want. So it's like, life on the line, who's taking the penalty, who's shooting the free throw, etcetera. I'm still choosing Messi.
Let me
Um,
uh, let me let me spit some facts here too, because I can't just let Mr. Facts here be the only guy spitting facts.
should have should have been the headliner.
So it took Messi 1,142 games to get to 900, while Ronaldo needed 1,236 matches to reach the mark. I don't want to add fuel to the fire, Messi versus Ronaldo, but it's a fact, and it's important to know. Brazilian great, obviously Pelé. We all know Pelé
There you
stands
go.
third on the
Agree.
all-time list with 765.
Yeah.
Um, Lewandowski, who currently plays for Barca, it has is third behind Ronaldo and Messi with 690.
Think
So
about how many of those were great free kicks by Messi, not just
Which Messi, I mean,
happened.
we're jumping a little bit ahead because did the Messi scored his 71st
Yeah.
free kick
Yeah.
against New York City. We'll talk about the New York City game right now in a bit, but he scored his 71st. I think he's tied or about to tie Jorginho, who has, I think he's either 71 or 72. So I mean, he's breaking it in free kicks as well. One of if not one of the best free kick uh, kickers in history too. So it's incredible.
Agreed. Agreed, he's the best, and
Oh
we'll
look,
keep, enjoying it.
so his free kick on Sunday broke Pele's record, his
Yep.
second in history. That's pretty sick.
It's pretty sick,
Yeah.
and, we know that on the field, he's still doing everything we can want, and, like I said, there's still lots left to play for, not only just this season, but just for Inter Miami and Messi in general. But off the field, he's more than just he's more than just an athlete. He's a music video movie star because he featured in, Teeny, Argentinian pop star, singer, also Rodrigo de Paul's girlfriend, new music video where he did a cameo, and seemed to have lots of fun and just shows that he's got ventures everywhere and off the field with his best friend that he gets to play with. Um, he gets to do more fun things as well. What'd you think of the video? As a
What
director
did I think
yourself.
of him? Look, I honestly, I love the framing. I honestly, I love the scenes. I love the transitions. The music, the score was great. The acting was honestly, I gave it a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. I went right away and I reviewed it. I thought it was great. I'll be playing it at my next birthday party in September, so I'm really excited about that. Hey, I mean, Messi's everywhere, and look, that's part of the, I guess you'd say, part of the, what the hell's the word I'm trying to look for? Like the perks. There you go. It's
Or
like
yeah.
the perks of having your best friend be Messi. That Paul is able to get Messi on freaking Dini's video. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. He's
It's very
everywhere.
cool.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere. And honestly, I don't know. Did you even listen to this song? Have you heard of it by any chance?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I think it's a
Yeah.
song.
Would you dance to it? Like, would you? Is it your vibe? Like, what? I don't
Yeah.
know. How do you feel about it?
I thought it was a cool pop song, had good lyrics, good melody, good kind of chorus. I liked it.
Did you translate the lyrics by any chance?
I understand Spanish, so I understood the
Oh,
lyrics.
that's true. You know some Spanish. That's true. That's true. I forget sometimes. I'm trying to. I'm
They
trying
all
to
speak in
find
the
a.
press box and I don't understand it. I'm like, I know what you're saying."
Look, I found a little snippet here. I don't know how this is gonna look on the screen, but whatever. I'll put it on. Oh, there you go. That's it's just honestly.
Good time,
I'll
yep.
I'll, I'll be 100% honest here. I saw it and I actually kind of laughed. Like, I just thought it was funny. Honestly, like, you see Messi on the pitch scoring goals, and all of a sudden you see him on a music video, and like, it's silly, somebody peeking through an eye hole as he and the ball are delivering whatever they're delivering there. I don't know if it's a cake or what the heck they're delivering.
Mhm.
It just looks funny, especially when you know how, like, you've grown up with Messi and seen how Messi is. Like, he's so awkward. He's just awkward. He's just like I can only imagine how many takes they must have had to do. Like,
Yeah.
Messi, you can't
It's
look at the
still a good
camera.
show.
Messi, you can't, like. It's just, I don't know. I think it's hilarious, honestly, to see him there. But yeah. Anyways, how do you guys? What, I mean, we're the only ones talking here about it. Chat. How do you guys feel about the music? Any of you guys listen to this type of music? Were any of you guys Teeny fans? I'll be honest. I didn't, if the Paul didn't exist, I wouldn't have a clue who Teeny was. Honestly,
Yeah.
promise you.
Well,
Did
we
you?
don't
Did you
live in
know him?
Argentina, so I think it's fair. Yeah. No, I
Okay, all right. You don't have to get all methodical about it. Okay, okay. All right. Jeez.
No, no, I know. She seemed cool. It was a cool moment to watch. Obviously, like we said, we're enjoying the as Messi's career keeps going, all the fun things he gets to do along with it. Oh, this is true. I did like this too. The bat speaking of him being at the the door when the doorbell rings, the same thing with the Bad Boys commercial. I remember that was like what was it, 2 years ago, and he goes, "Bad boys, bad boys." I do remember that. That was funny. Hey, look, his personality probably doesn't exactly match, what he's brought from a sporting perspective, but I'm just happy he's happy and in Miami as long as possible. But we will talk about, like we said, the other star of this music video, outside of Tini, of course, Rodrigo de Paul, who is currently injured, but it was interesting because the music video came out, and we then heard, DePaul or wasn't at practice, and then we'll get into it obviously later, but was not a part of the squad for the New York game. I did notice during the Nashville game, I remember he took a couple hard hits in the first half, a couple hard tackles, and I remember he was limping, and we kind of were saying he looks a little worse for wear. Who knows if in the end it was actually a difference maker. I would say of all the list of things that we complained about from the match last week, I don't think Rodrigo de Paul was 1 or 2. So, that aside, uh, the injury is making people think though, because he's in Argentina right now. What do you think about that? Or maybe he's back now, but he was in Argentina over the weekend.
So first off, when the news first broke
Mhm.
that he was injured, he was he was injured on his girlfriend's birthday
Yeah.
weekend. So
It's like that
it's
happens
like,
with
I mean,
Neymar, right? Doesn't he always have an
yeah,
injury when it's, like, his kid's birthday or something? It's, like, funny, yeah.
I mean, it makes you think. Like honestly, like I don't fault anybody for being like, okay, it's De Paul, it just so happens to be Tini's birthday, and all of a sudden he has a because we're not talking about he pulled the groin or he had a quad injury or he rolled his ankle. It was a contusion. And what is a contusion? A contusion is simply it's a bruise, is what it is. That's what
Yeah.
a contusion is. So it's like all of a sudden he has a contusion. How convenient. Okay, I saw that all over the social realm, social media, and I won't pretend. I was also like, okay, yeah, yeah, how convenient, how convenient. But I also am cognizant of the fact that as somebody who has played football their whole life, I've been playing on the and I've played on traveling teams. I've played with friends. You can get knocked pretty damn hard playing, and you can be okay to like walk around and live your life. Like you can go
Yeah.
out to a bar, you can go different places, and people may never know, may never know. But that doesn't mean that you can play. I think it's a big difference. So those people that are athletes will definitely understand that you can have a knock and live your life like normal, but being on the field, it's going to be impossible, especially at a I would say, especially at a professional level, what it takes to play in a game. So I kind of understood that, and I
And
was
what he
giving
does
him the
in a
benefit
normal
of the doubt.
in-Miami game, he covers 90% of the ground and is,
Yeah,
the most worked used player by a long
yeah.
shot.
So I give him the benefit of the doubt, 100%. But one thing I was like iffy about was I just thought it was a bad look. I think that if you miss practice because of an injury, I think that because if you it's not only do you miss practice, but you're missing a game because of an injury. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
look good that you are out and about and the paparazzi's getting pictures of you and you're with your girlfriend on her birthday. It's the perspective. I think the look. I would have wanted him to still be, I think, with his team on the sidelines, right, rooting for his team, being there for them. I think that that would have been a better look. But the guy was injured. I mean, I actually have the picture here. I can bring it up real quick. Like we can see his leg. That was his leg.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean,
No, and I
that,
remember the moment it happened in the game in Nashville, like,
yeah.
it was a gnarly tackle for sure.
Yeah, so if you have that, like that's gonna hurt like hell. Like it's gonna hurt really bad, and you're not gonna be able to play with that. But you're gonna be able to live in. You could probably go play mini golf. You can jump in the pool. Like you're gonna be fine, which is what he was doing. But looks wise, I didn't really. I think he probably should have handled it better, or been like, hey, whatever we do, let's make sure that nobody catches us on video. That sort of thing. So, but
Agreed.
other than that, I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, we shouldn't make it a bigger deal than it is.
Agreed. Agreed. All right. Well, then moving on, we'll stick though with the nationality and talk about the Argentina friendlies versus Mauritania and Zambia. I hope I pronounced that correctly. In Argentina at La Bombonera. So Messi obviously going on international duty as always. You know, we'll be playing 2 home games as while he's still part of Argentina, and obviously we know that World Cup is only a few months away. So without the finalissima happening anymore, it was important that Argentina was still able to put some matches together. Don't really have that strong of opinion on it, honestly. Like I said, we're just getting right now close to the World Cup, and that's really from an international standpoint what my energy is on. For many big players around the world, it's their last tune up before the tournament, and important to get their, I guess, final kind of things in and looks in together. But yeah, and then another international window and Messi being able to do what he loves the most, I think, which is representing Argentina.
I was just gonna say that Argentina went from about to play Spain to playing Mauritania and Zambia.
Mhm.
I mean, if that is not like an absolutely jump like down the levels, I mean, I don't know what is. That's just nuts. Like they were about to play Spain in what was going to be an epic game, an epic,
Epic.
uh, epic. What did I say? I said epic.
No, I was agreeing with you. I was agreeing with you.
Oh, damn! What the hell?
I was
I
just
hope I didn't say
echoing.
something weird. Oh, it was, and it would have been an incredible game, honestly. Incredible game, not only from like this an absolute spectacle for fans, but for preparation. You're talking about Argentina getting ready for the World Cup. What better preparation than against a team they'll probably could very well face in later rounds,
Yeah.
right? And maybe it could be a final.
True.
I don't know how the seeding is, but that would have been an incredible preparation for them. And unfortunately, that didn't work out. But now they're going against Mauritania and Zambia, who I believe Mauritania was fifth in their group for World Cup qualifying, and Zambia was fourth in their group. Like these are teams that I don't believe are even going to the World Cup, and I just think that this is probably not the best preparation for this Argentina team. So I think it's quite unfortunate. I would think that Argentinians feel the same way. They're probably like, "Damn,
Yeah.
we're the World Cup champions, and this is the best that we could find." Again, nothing against these two teams, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the caliber that you want to have before going into a World Cup, like you want an actual test. This is like a practice. This is
Yeah.
like you talking about practice. Yeah, we're talking about practice. Like this is not
Love
the
that
level
that
that
always comes
Argentina should
back.
be playing. Yeah, this is not the level of teams that they should be playing. Honestly, and it's like I mean, my own Ecuador. Like Ecuador is going to be playing Morocco, and then they're going to play Holland
Yeah.
in the
That'd be
Netherlands. Like
tough.
that's a preparation going into the World Cup. That's what you want to see. So I mean, so somebody, what does Francisco say? They have played against Panama, Curacao, Australia, Indonesia, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Guatemala, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Angola. They haven't played against the best teams. Honestly, Ecuador is the best team they've played there, and it's not just because I'm from there. They qualified top three in South America. They had the best defense in South America. They're the team that has given, by their own words, from their commentators, from people that know the game, have given them the most trouble is Ecuador. So I think that that was the best team that they've played. But outside of that, they really haven't. So you have to think about it. Is it because they just can't find people that want to play them, or are they going for
Or
the
maybe because it's just
moral
that close to the
wins?
World Cup. Yeah. A lot of the big teams have already got
Well,
their stuff scheduled.
it could, well, yeah, in part because of the fact that the Spain game got canceled
Yeah.
in the finalissima, but also there are some teams that are just go for morale boosters. They want to make sure that they don't lose, a game or two before they go into the World Cup. They just want to go out there and win a 5, 6, 7-0 and come out like,
Yeah.
with the big morale. But I just think that from a Inter Miami perspective, Messi perspective, you know, at least he's not gonna have to put out a lot of effort, and he should be relatively okay, hopefully.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's cool
Yeah,
that it's
hopefully
in La
it's not a
Bombonera where Boca plays. So that's going to
true.
be a neat, a really neat atmosphere.
It will be a great atmosphere, and like I said, it's great that at this after such a tumultuous, I would say, career with Argentina for a long time, obviously in the most recent years being able to win the World Cup and then Copa America. I cements, that he gets to really enjoy all these moments that he goes and plays in Argentina, and very well deserved. Um, Speaking of, this is gonna be a good transition. Uh, Winning the World Cup, the team he played against in the World Cup, one of their stars, and no, it's not Kylian Mbappe. I'd say it's their probably second most famous player, Antoine Griezmann. After lots of back and forth, we reported on it. It wasn't happening. Is going to officially uh, play with Orlando City and move to Orlando City in June, I believe. Once this season finishes, he's still finishing the Champions League and his season with Atletico Madrid. Um, it is, we've been talking about it, but it's now reality, and that's going to be a tough, you know, competitor and team to play uh, when it's already a contentious match against their in-state rivals, and now they're bringing in a player who still, like we said, starts for Atletico Madrid. Could still plays for France. I think I'm not sure if he's going to be at the World Cup, but he could. Um, a bona fide star.
Yeah, like it says there, he picked the wrong team. I mean, he came to Florida, but he picked Orlando instead of
Yeah,
the best team in Florida. But I think it's just good for the league. Obviously, it's good
yeah,
for MLS as a lot of these players have come in and kind of set the path. From the beginning with guys like Beckham, like Thierry Henry, Ibrahimovic, and various other players that have
yeah,
come in here. Song recently, obviously Messi. It's these players are kind of laying the path out for other players to start coming in even earlier in their careers and not waiting till they're 36, 37 years old to come and play. So I think that that's what you want. And Orlando bringing in a Griezmann, I think is obviously Orlando looking at what other teams are doing, looking at teams playing well like Nashville, looking at teams like Inter Miami, how they're going out and getting the best players at spending money to
mhm,
bring in guys like Bertrame. I know that he still hasn't necessarily found his footing, but he is a big signing, bringing in guys like Messi, like Reguilon, like De Paul from Atletico Madrid that has a lot of familiarity, obviously, with Griezmann. They're trying to make these investments so that they can keep up. So I think it's good for the league, and it'll be cool to see De Paul versus Griezmann now. They're,
yeah.
they're, they're teammates. So
No,
that'll
that
be
is
neat.
gonna be a
And it
good
just
match.
makes this as if Orlando, Miami needed any more, spice and
Fuel.
grit. Like now
Yeah,
you've got, yeah, fuel. Like now you've got a world class star there. So I think that that's great.
agreed. Agreed. It will. I mean, again, disappointed he's not playing for my team, but like we said, Griezmann's still a very good player. He just played, started in Champions League, got multiple goal contributions. In an elimination game. Plays with Julian Griezmann and lots of great players. One of the best teams in Spain, no doubt. It's a good pickup, and it shows where MLS is kind of continuing to evolve to. Um, and so for the last topic, speaking of MLS and speaking of what we talked about earlier in the show, which was, a huge disappointment with Champions Cup kind of bringing it back, but Inter Miami still with a lot to play for, which is that they win MLS, they're 3rd in MLS, they go and play, uh, in New York City in what would I would say was a pretty hostile atmosphere. I mean, obviously lots of Messi fans, but a lot of New York City fans too, uh, needing to bounce back, needing to, be in good form for what is lots of season left, and they do it with a bounce back win, uh back and forth game, in the end, win by 3 goals, including a free kick goal by Messi, kind of indirect, but still a good goal. A goal by Lujan and Noah Allen, who are people that or not Noah Allen, Mikael, people who you don't normally think will be on the score sheet, but they get it done and, go into the international break on what I would say is a positive note after a very negative week.
Before the game started, I I really thought that this game would have been important for Inter Miami, this NYC game. I thought it was important because I felt like the team morale was probably pretty low.
Yeah.
I think Macherano also, I was looking at some of the comments that he made, and I think that he kind of backs that up, saying that it was a really tough blow on the team after coming out of Champions Cup, that they had a lot of aspirations to get to the final. They thought they could. And he said it was really tough on them after that loss. And I thought that, you know what, if this team, even though De Paul wasn't going to play, and even though it was a game right before the break, and then they have the new stadium coming up and all that, it wasn't like a throwaway game. I didn't think that at any point. I thought this was going to be a really important game that they needed to bounce back. They needed an emotional win, a morale boost. I think it would have done a lot more damage if they would have used this as a throwaway game and just, you just get knocked out of the Champions Cup, and then if you would have lost to, if they would have lost to NYC, I believe that would have been four straight losses that they would have incurred going into the break. Like, that's not how you want to go into the break, especially with a week or more with no football, and then you go into your inaugural game at your new stadium. Like, that would have been awful. That would have been like, vibes would have been off, like really
Yeah.
off.
It would
So
100% bad
it
vibes,
would have
really bad.
been, I think it would have been really, really bad. So the fact that they went in there and they look, to me, that first half just probably was some of the best first half football that we've seen from this team. I know that what speaks are goals, not necessarily shots on goal, but just the activity that there was on that attack, the way that
Mhm.
they were meshing, the way that the players were playing, the way that Messi was just so engaged and so like in
Yeah.
his element attacking, I thought was incredible. Obviously, De Paul wasn't there. Macherano wasn't there. Macherano, I believe, was suspended. So
Mhm.
his assistant was coaching, which was interesting too. The assistant coach didn't even have an earpiece on; like, he was just in his own,
Mhm.
um, and they started without Berterame.
Yeah.
Macherano had Berterame on the bench, and it was Tadeo, Allende, Silvetti, and Messi, the top three. Thank you, Lord, because that's what we've been asking for a long time. We saw how good that was in the in MLS Cup. That's what won us MLS Cup, and to see it, I think it looked amazing. I wrote this down when I was tweeting. Just the first half alone, Ash. This is just the first half alone. 59% possession, 15 total shots in the first half alone.
Yeah.
That's more than the entire Nashville series combined.
Yeah.
This just in the first half, 5 shots on target, 92% accurate passes. And I think in the final third, I think their accuracy was about 70 something percent. Not only were they attacking and shooting and going at goal, they were accurate in their passes and just playing at a great level in that first half. So before we go into the second half, I mean, how do you feel? I just thought that was excellent. That first half where you had Lujan score, we were I believe tied 1-1 in that first half. I just thought it was great.
Yeah. No, I agree, and you saw all the way the players celebrated when Lujan scored too, like, the team needed it. They needed the morale boost. Going into the international break, it was important for them to, uh to score and to win. I would say second half was not as good as the first, obviously, and the team needs to learn how to be finishing um, on a higher note, I think, and feeling confident from minute 1 to minute 90. Lots of things to improve and grow on, but most importantly, they got the win. When we're toward the end of the season and we're looking at whether it's supporter shield, whether it's home field advantage for the playoffs, things the way things will be set up. These moments and these games are super important, and getting the win is really what they needed, and next step is gonna be uh the new stadium, literally the new stadium opening it. That's gonna hopefully kind of turn the tides back into a positive way, and bring excitement to everyone who's been watching.
Yeah, which is, I think it's just pretty crazy to say, but and it's true that that second half we scored more goals than in the first half, but it didn't look as good as that first half. And I believe in that first half is where we had what, two Messi posts. Like, Messi almost scored
Oh
two
my god, yeah, he
golazos.
almost
It
scored
was
like
just
9 goals in that game, yeah.
it was incredible. He was just shooting out of those 5 shots on target. What, maybe like three of those were from Messi.
Yeah,
5 shots on target. The goalie saved a couple as well that were really good. I
yeah.
mean, that team looked so good. And in that second
US
half,
men's
it was
national
nice
team
to see.
goalkeeper, Matt Freese.
Say that again.
US men's national team, one of the
Oh
goalkeepers,
yeah,
Matt Freese, important, could be
yeah,
important.
100%. And in that second half, Messi scores in a 61st minute his 71st free kick. which
Mhm.
you had mentioned it. It looked like there was a deflection on it, but a beautifully
There yeah.
kicked free kick. And then Mikael scores a header in minute
Great header.
76 to give Inter Miami the lead, which I mean, I was surprised because it wasn't even a corner kick. I mean, it looked like it was a center to the area from Noah Allen and just like a normal play. So when I saw Mikael, I'm like, what the hell is he doing there? I mean, it was
I
beautiful. It
know.
was a great header, and it caught me off by surprise. But on a night where it's just a strange game because on a night where the offense looked so good, only one attacker scored, and it was
I
Messi,
was
and you
gonna say,
had two
yeah, 2
defenders
2 of
score,
those are defenders, yeah.
which is weird because the attack
It is
looks
weird.
better than it has all season. And I think that's something when the attack can't get it done, to have two defenders step up and score, I think is great for this team. It shows that they have players that can step up, but you need to build off of how good this attack looked this game and go on to the next game and hopefully continue to build off that and not go back to whatever the heck Macherano's trying to do with Berterame. There's a place for Berterame. There has to be a fit, but you have to figure out what it is and stop forcing what's not working.
Yeah. Agreed, agreed, and we'll just have to wait and see how it all goes. And it will be exciting. We'll have another episode next week where, like we said, we're getting closer and closer to that new stadium and team needing to stay positive and keep going. So yeah, this was a fun show, a good show. You know, we had to start obviously with some of the sad parts of the show of the week of the team, but got to turn things around and we have a whole season. So we got to keep that energy up and going. Any last thoughts?
No last thoughts, just that I'm excited for the new stadium. And I'm sure that next week we'll do an episode. We'll talk a little bit more about the new stadium
Mhm.
and about Austin FC, maybe preview that game. So I
Yep.
just can't wait, honestly. It's a moment that we've been waiting for a lot of years. Sometimes it looked like it wasn't going to happen at all.
Mhm.
And there was just a lot of hurdles to get over. But we're here. We're less than 2 weeks away from it. And it's just exciting that we're finally going to be at our new stadium.
Agreed. Agreed. I can't wait. Well, make sure as always you are following along on social uh for X at Messi and Co. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube at 5 Reasons Football, where we will keep putting out this content and keep sharing everything new and exciting about Inter Miami, about Messi, DePaul, all of them. As always, lots to talk about. Thank you as always for watching this episode of Messi and Co. I'm Ashley, that is Gian, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.